All right, we're up and cooking. All right, today is Monday, February 2nd, 2026. Wow, what happened to January? This is 1:30 PM. This is our weekly meeting of the Weber County Board of Commissioners work session. I'm Commissioner Gage for I'll be conducting with me Commissioner Sharon Bolos and Commissioner Jim Harvey. First item of business, commissioners, is discussion and or action for approval of the commission work session held on January 22nd or 26th.
Motion to approve.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, thanks. Let's now go to our next agenda item, which is a discussion regarding trail connectivity near Westfield High School. Charlie Ewart's here, Rick Grover, Sean Wilkinson, Chris Crockett is not here. So Charlie, you're listed first.
Yeah, commissioners, we're coming up on a deadline in one of our development agreements. That's there, the Single Tree Acres. If you look at the aerial image, Single Tree Acres is that subdivision just to the west of the high school. Take a good close look, there's a yellow circle. A yellow circle was supposed to be a gate, and the developers were responsible for putting in a pathway to that gate. That gate would then access the school grounds. The intention of this was to provide some kind of a pedestrian route through the school property.
Yeah,
The school district still hasn't put the gate in. In the development agreement, it says that that gate or the pathway the gate going into the pedestrian facility on the school property is not in within a certain period of time, then the developer can vacate that right of way in favor of either of the two landowners on the sides. And so we just wanted to check in with you guys on how much pressure you wanted us to apply to the school district to get the gate in that they were supposed to put in, or if you'd be comfortable letting that essentially lapse and let the landowners take over that acreage.
To give you a little bit of context too, when the school was being finalized, I reached out to the person who's over their facilities and visited with them about this requirement for the gate. And they assured me that the gate would be going in. So that's just a little bit of history.
when was that?
That how long's Westfield been open? I'm not even, this is
Quite a while.
Second year, yeah, it's probably been, and it was the individual I reached out. I'm not gonna mention his name, but anyway, I did reach out to him.
So what's our timeline? How much time?
How much time do we have left? I don't
We have
recall.
left.
I think they had a total of 3 years. It was either 3 years or 5 years in the development agreement. And all I recall is that we're coming up close to where that deadline is. Do you remember, Ash, 3 or 5 years?
Okay, well, my opinion is we give a notice and just say, but this is your last opportunity that we're about ready to turn this over to the property owner, so.
may I share a little?
Go ahead.
I don't remember the school being really excited
No,
about
that's-
doing this.
Same way.
I would rather put some heat on them and say, hey, look, this is what you've done. I don't want to give that up because as you can see by this fine map that you've prepared, there's still all this development out and around here. Without this, that eliminates the pedestrian walkway, and they'd have to go all the way around to get into the school. I'd like to force them to put that gate up.
Okay.
That's my opinion. That's what I'd like to see them do.
Well, I don't know how we force them to do that if they don't want to, but it's,
Well, we've got leverage. Other things we do with the school district. I'm just saying, how much pressure do you want?
They said they would do it. Please follow through with your commitment to us.
Commissioner Bolos,
I agree with that.
all right. So put pressure on.
We'll do it.
Sounds good. Okay.
Yeah, I think it makes sense, but it's going through my head too. I don't remember them being very excited about this from the get-go.
No,
So this may just be, hey, we didn't really want to do this. We're not going to.
So they also, we made them put a 3-foot fence instead of a 6-foot fence along the side. There was a lot of exhaustive discussion regarding all this,
A lot of discussion.
and they need to follow through with their commitment. Look, you've got the fence all the way, just fix the hole, fill the hole.
Yeah.
Did the developer put the sidewalk through like he was supposed to?
Not yet. But he will.
Yeah, let's, He will, and so let's do that. Let's put it through. I think it would be a misstep for us, for the developer side and to the school district if we didn't push them.
Okay,
Sounds good.
apply the pressure.
Yep.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Nope.
Thank you.
John?
Nothing from me.
Okay. Good luck.
Thanks.
Let us know what the pressure does.
The 50-year agreement with the school district for the environmental center expires next year, so you know.
Oh, that's a great.
Coincidentally,
We have a little thing called it. Yeah,
environmental center.
Nothing to do, have anything to do.
No, right, I'm just saying.
Thanks, Commissioner.
thank you. That's a great
Thanks.
reminder. Thank you.
All right, where's Stephanie? We got 4 minutes.
Can I take that 4 minutes, Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair,
What do you got there?
I felt,
Wow.
I felt honored to represent us
Wow.
at the Associated General Contractors of Utah meeting, where the county received a award of excellence for the conference center remodel.
Wow.
Jessica, I can send this to you. It complimented us for the management and Hogan, the architects and several people on here. And so I'll give this to you, Jessica, and if you'll give it to the folks who'd like to get this hung up. And it was because this is kind of a big deal. I'd like to maybe have Marty and Cassie bring Hogan in, and maybe we recognize him just in a meeting. That'd be good for him, especially as we're getting ready to do possibly some other things in the county.
I like that idea.
Okay,
It's great.
just wanted to show it to you. Didn't want to hog it all to myself.
Is that a dinner or lunch? What
It
was
was a
it?
breakfast, yeah, down there at 7:30.
Wow, good for you.
Great.
There you go, Jessica. All right, let's go to our PID revision. Okay,
And by the way, one of the principals of Hogan, the vice president or president, lives in the valley. And the other person I said, well, I don't remember his name, but lives in the valley. So did the next guy. They had quite a few questions.
good there.
It was,
Hope you
It
didn't
was-
want to build an addition.
it was enlightening for them because of where
Well, being contractors, they're probably not real excited.
they just found that there are some few things that knowing what they know as contractors and knowing what they were told or read about. I don't know if you read it much up there that's.
Well, not really. Try to avoid that.
This is for Stephanie Russell.
The truth
Oh,
will come out.
It started to,
Yes,
it started to actually.
Sits on the other side.
I think the word vilified.
I just felt like
I'm filming it. I'm filming the.
in the direct line.
Things are feeling a little
He
bit.
didn't want to catch whatever contagion you have.
Well, it also gave me a chance to do
They can't.
It's not contagious.
It was great. Just keep telling the story.
Tell the story, yeah. Well, it's interesting. Let me put it that way. Sean, do you know about this next agenda item?
Yeah, I do know.
Stephanie?
Stephanie is leading this. She's the one that sent this out to us for review. We have looked at it. Lauren did have a few comments that she can discuss. This is an update to our PID policy.
All right, let's go to that agenda item 145. Stephanie should be. So Lauren, since you have the update, let's go to you.
Really good. And I have not talked to Stephanie about this at all, but the two things that are being proposed in it. One of them would be some clarification on when boundaries overlap, for districts or when that's allowed. The other thing would be entertaining the idea of entering interlocals with PIDs. So frequently PIDs, when they need something, they have to come back to the county, and the county has to kind of go through the process of, if it's an overlap, writing a document for them, or it could be amending the governing document, it could be any number of things, but entering an interlocal with them so that we could recoup some of the cost that's associated with doing those things. So those are the two big additions to this policy.
So do we need to change our policy or,
Yeah, so right now, like those things aren't kind of delineated in the policy that we have currently,
okay,
so those would be the additions
okay,
to it.
and that conforms with state code, I'm assuming.
So I wanted to, one of the things I'd like to talk to Stephanie about is this interlocal idea. The PID statute says that we can charge for creation of the PID. So we
Right.
always charge the fee for creation of the governing document. It doesn't say you can't charge a fee. It doesn't say specifically that you can when it comes to kind of the administrative costs after it's created. So legally, I don't think we're restricted from charging that fee. But we would have to go the interlocal route and have it be like an interlocal agreement between
Okay,
these. So that's the one piece I need to explore a little bit more though. From the legal standpoint.
so we would need an interlocal to
To
charge a fee to be safe in
Yeah.
charging the fee.
Right, because it's not explicit in the code that you can in fact do it that particular way.
Got it. Okay. All right. Questions?
May, not a shall, correct?
Yes,
So it does say may in the statute?
oh, actually, can you clarify your question, Commissioner Harvey?
So in that discussion, our wording in there would be a may, not a shall, or should we make it a shall,
With
or?
the interlocals, it could be either, yeah. If we go the interlocal route.
But the state codes doesn't say either may or shall.
So yeah, the state just says that the costs that are.
Right,
For creating a PID should be borne by the PID itself.
right.
So that's
Okay.
what it says.
Got it.
So we'd basically be pulling that in as a cost associated with the
Yeah.
creation of the PID. Anything related to amending zoning document, stuff like that.
So it would be our interlocal that would say may or shall
Yes,
versus we're not fault because state code's silent to that.
yes.
Just says that the cost shall be borne.
So we would enter interlocals with the PIDs that say we will provide these, or we shall or may provide these services to you at this cost.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, questions? Sean, any questions on that? I mean, to me, I don't, why we wouldn't do that. Cause we put quite a bit of time and effort into these PIDs.
Yes.
And I think it would just be a matter of tracking our time or setting some type of, lower or upper bracket when they come in and we do the PID.
Yeah.
I think one difficulty too, and I mentioned this to you, Steph, is just how do we calculate what that
Yeah,
cost is going to be? So
Right.
that's something that needs to be explored a little bit. Because the services we could provide are they're various. It could be a great range of things. Depending on what they come to us asking.
yeah, that's a difficult part, so. Steph, what's your viewpoint on that in terms of, we do like an hourly? I mean, if you take a look at what we did for Snow Basin, that was fairly substantial.
it was.
Yeah.
And really Nordic was not an easy lift either. So a lot of time and effort goes into those based upon, okay, is that Stephanie's time? Stephanie Russell's time, or how do we calculate that?
Right, I think that as Lauren said, it is so varied because are we looking at attorney time? Are we looking at
Yeah,
clerk time? It kind of just depends. And we can track it, through a project type.
code,
But a lot of, again, we run into the issues of are the employees that are working on it, are they filling out timesheets? And most of them, a lot of them probably are not.
yeah.
And so that's where it becomes a little bit tricky to, and Lauren mentioned it to me. I don't know if I have a good answer right now. We'll have to probably brainstorm that.
Well, that's something we could discuss. To me, probably comes down to tracking because it's varied from PID to PID.
Exactly, and just depending on what it is they're asking.
So, I don't know, I guess
Brainstorm.
we would look for your advice on that, but I'd say right now, we just have to do timesheets and,
Other than if we did on like some of the CRAs and that we have. There's administrative costs of just a percentage of the increment that we get from that, and I don't know. But again, very with the PID, the cost varies so much on those as well. That I don't know if that would be a fair route to go with that either, and just a straight percentage. Like we've done with some of those CRAs, so I don't know.
Yeah, and it would just be different from the CRA because usually they would, there's increment involved there that we have to give to them with the
Mhm.
PIDs. It would just be us providing a service.
yeah, I don't see us following the same route as the CRA,
No.
since we know what the increment is. With the PID, it's gonna be a period of time before any revenue, and it doesn't come to the county. It goes back to the PID. So,
Right.
anyway, questions, Commissioner Bowles?
No, I think if we can clarify that.
Okay,
Have we
Yeah,
reached out to
that-
any other counties or any that have PIDs that have been working on
I
this for a
haven't.
while?
I'm not sure if Stephanie has or
Okay.
not.
That might be something that we could ask
Yeah.
and see how others are doing it.
Mhm.
well, and I know there's some PID bills out there for this year. We might wanna, I can have Stephanie pull those. We may wanna just throw a little language in there that addresses this. That clarifies it, so,
That can charge.
yeah,
basically.
that it's, yeah,
I think that would be great.
just gives us the authority to do that based upon what the legislative body decides.
Be great.
Okay. Anything else?
Stephanie may have something else.
All right. Oh, wow.
They're Biscoff, chocolate chip cookies.
Wow. Okay, we're just dealing with your PID.
Oh, okay.
So we just said we probably need some type of interlocal to start charging.
Sorry, I get stuck on a phone call. Charging for,
If we entered into locals with,
oh, yeah, we're looking,
Yeah.
yeah, we're looking at putting a fee schedule together so that we get reimbursed for that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll work on that. The other part, did you go over the changes that we're looking to make besides that?
we haven't talked about the overlap extensively yet, so.
Okay, well, we're dealing with that next week. So we've got a petition from our existing COD to do an overlap. And we'll bring that back to you in a separate work session. But right now, we really are just looking at this point, updating the policy, cleaning it up, making sure that, we have some checks and balances in place. Just overall, there's gonna be some changes to the state statute this year. And so we want to just get out in front of that. And as soon as we get those changes, we'll implement those into the policy as well. But ultimately, the policy changes that we're really looking to make are a change in how much mills you can raise on a housing project. We dropped that down to 1.5. It's at five mills right now. The housing projects take the biggest brunt of the PID financing, and that goes right to the homeowner. It doesn't go to the developer. We're just seeing a lot of manipulation of the state statute and would like to get out in front of that before the state comes in and completely changes the statute, and to put our policy in a position where it becomes an example for the rest of the counties and cities in the state.
Okay.
So we just wanted to bring that to your attention at this point.
And there is a provision in there still that would allow you to, make exceptions to
Yes,
that,
yeah,
so.
yeah.
It's not like a hard.
Yeah,
pass,
it's not a hard
but-
pass. Yeah, it allows the commission to make those exceptions, but we want to make sure that coming in, the petitioners are aware of our policy and what that really looks like from an overall ask. Because we're getting asked to do some really weird stuff with these PIDs. And we want to make sure that that's addressed in the policy, it's addressed in their governing document, that they have an understanding that they're gonna be paying for admin fees.
Yeah.
Above and beyond, because some of these questions that come in, and then we also get the amendments. Promontory, this will be their third amendment. So that's just part of the development process. We want to make sure that's not taking up staff time. and if it is, we're being compensated for it.
I think that's the main thing. Let's just make sure that we're compensated for that time and effort we put
Yeah,
into it.
and just getting our process a little more airtight. Cause it's been a really wild year with watching what the developers, what the underwriters and, the attorneys have been able to do and do workarounds, the state statute as well as the policy, and we're done.
Yep.
It's a great tool, it's a great mechanism, but it's being, like CRAs, it's being abused.
Okay,
So we need to tighten our policy up.
okay.
That's
So
it.
you're gonna work on
Yeah,
that?
we'll work on that. We just wanna make sure that we got a whole team working on it and that, we're bringing that back to you for a final review and then an adoption, but we won't do that until the session's over in case we need to implement something else into it based off of any amendments they make. But it's something that's in progress that you need to be aware of.
Got it. Okay, anything else?
Just looking through here, I was wondering if we wanted to include the final local entity plat process in that anywhere. You had suggested
Like that idea.
having that
We've
come
had
in
a
with
lot
the
of
petition.
problem with,
Mhm.
because the final local entity plat, you have to submit that as a part of like the final package that goes to the lieutenant governor's office,
Mhm.
but the petition, it actually says you're only required to have a map. It doesn't say that you have to turn in the final local entity plat. So we've had problems with people submitting petitions with just a map, but not a final local entity plat. And then we run into a deadline problem because we have to certify something within, I think it's 45 days.
Yeah.
So we could include in there something that requires them to actually submit that or show that they're going through the process of getting that done prior to our certifying the petition.
So the biggest problem that we've run into on that is more IFDs.
I was
gonna
gonna say,
That's
that's more of an
problem on
IFD
IFDs.
problem than a PID
It
problem.
is, but it's kind of for both. So the only reason to have the final local entity plat wait till kind of the end, right before the ordinance or
Which is how
whatever
we,
it
that's how we
act is
have it
being
right now.
created. So having it at the end, that is how it's done for any annexations, de-annexations, creations of cities or regular districts. And so it's nice to have that be consistent, but now we have the IFD that flipped that all on its head, and the final local entity plat has to come in with the petition, because otherwise they're gonna run into a situation where they don't meet the shot clock, there we go, that's the term, because the shot clock for the final local entity plat then starts with the application and certification of, sorry, the petition,
Mhm.
certification of the petition. So if we wanted, we could have the final local entity plat process operate on the same time frame, the same kind of process with the IFD where that comes in a petition, if we wanted.
For the PIDs, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't, and I'll tell you why. When they do their initial petition, they still have the opportunity to go and certify more properties into that
And
PID
that's the
boundary.
big thing.
And that's why I don't wanna do it, because that, they would have to literally do your process twice. That's why I have it come down near the end, right before the petition. And that still gives us that time to get it into the lieutenant governor's office. But I agree with you on the IFDs. That's a whole separate thing.
Yeah, that
That
would,
doesn't run through this committee, unfortunately, because the state statute, the way that it's drafted, but yes, I'm hearing you on that.
okay, so
It
that
would
makes
cause-
sense,
it would
I'm happy
cause-
with that.
It would cause double work if we did it that
Yeah,
way.
I agree with that.
Okay.
We don't want to do the final local entity plat if there's a high potential for changing the boundary.
Yeah.
I think the biggest with the cities, because they go through all their public notification processes, so there's a high potential for changes.
Mhm.
Whereas the special service districts that have to have 100% of owner signature don't
Right.
have that as much. But
Exactly.
yes, if they're changing the boundary a lot still in that process, let's do wait,
Okay.
because that's the biggest reason.
And I think
We don't want to create that.
so far with your team's so efficient at getting these out. We've never missed a deadline for submitting.
We did have a problem with the Nordic PIDs, their governing dot, all of their maps that they had done did not match
That is true.
the final local entity plat.
So that wasn't your team, that was
So we
ours, that
had
was
to-
them.
They did have to amend all of that pretty last minute.
So unlike with the IFDs, for the PID, if their original petition and their final plat don't match, that's not as big of a deal because the petition isn't what gets recorded. They have their creating
governing
document instead.
document.
Okay,
But
so,
the governing document does have to match the final local entity
Yeah.
plat, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is just for the initial submittal. It doesn't have the rest of the process then. Cause I didn't see the full document that we had gone through years
The
ago.
policy, yeah, so we have a flow chart that goes through the process, but the policy just covers what they're allowed to do, and it goes up to the governing document.
Okay, yeah, my only thought in looking through this was, do we want to say anything about? the
I
final
actually
local
like that
entity
idea
plat?
in the policy, I do like that idea, Steve, and let's incorporate that as
You
part
can
of.
put it into the governing doc piece,
And-
probably.
And if we mention the final local entity plat, we should also mention the other thing that is unique to our process, which is the maximum boundary map.
Okay. Noted,
Great,
we'll get there. Thanks.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll keep working on it and get you guys a final draft, probably second week of March,
okay. Good.
after we,
Let's keep an eye on what legislation may impact this as well.
it's gonna get crazy.
Yeah, so I think you're gonna see some things.
Yeah. And we are, and I know the state's trying to adjust the issue of the auditor, the state auditor's office. The state auditor came out with a memo last year that was basically saying that PIDs, counties are responsible for reporting on the PIDs, which is not correct in the
No.
state statute. But they've got a funny little, the state auditor's office has a statute that is attached to gas fee. And does show, and Steph can probably speak a little better on this than I can, and does show that there has to be some kind of reporting. Well, the reporting is dictated by the state statute for, and it depends on how you set the PID up. Some local governments are sponsoring their PIDs. We don't do that. That's not a best practice. You don't want to go into debt with a PID. But the state auditor's office is coming down really hard on the legislature to interpret that differently. So there's a big fight right now between the state auditor's office and the legislature on how to interpret that. And we'll see how that plays out.
I think I know who's gonna win.
Yeah, I think so too. I would
Yeah.
say McKay was gonna win this one.
Yeah. Okay, anything else?
That's it. Just wanted to bring that back to your attention and
Good.
let you know we're all working on it.
Yeah, appreciate you doing that. Let's get that cleaned up. Okay, anything else? Okay, Sean, anything else with that? Nope. All right. Our next agenda item is proposed ordinance change for variance and appeal hearing. Officer related. We got Charlie here.
Good ahead.
We don't have Chris Crockett, but we've got Lawrence. And Grover. Sean, we got everybody but Tammy. We okay going ahead? Yeah. Okay, Charlie, you're up again.
Hi, so we talked about a month and a half ago about moving from a BOA to a variance and appeal hearing officer. You guys like the idea?
Yeah,
We've got some legislation ready for you to hear, but there's one question that we have outstanding. State statute says, so for the most part, variance and appeal hearing officer is to hear variance and appeals from land use regulation. But the state statute also says that we have to have an appeal provision for land use regulation or application fees. Right now in our fee chapter, we have a little section that says that the county commission can waive, adjust, modify fees, for a good reason. At your guys' discretion, we're kind of thinking maybe that is the appeal provision. We just want to make sure we are working the way you guys want us to be working in that respect. So we could change that to have an appeal board be the entity that looks at reduction in fees or elimination of fees. We could have the appeal and variance hearing officer do that. We can keep sending it to you guys. Planning commission, it could be whatever you guys want to be when it comes to fee adjustments.
And we would probably have to in our ordinance where it says that the commission can waive or modify a fee, we would probably just need to clarify in there that the appeal authority, or that is designating you as the appeal authority under this particular section of code. Yeah.
so can a hearing officer under state statute discuss fee waivers or?
We could write a statute that puts it on the hearing officer. We could write a statute that puts it on any kind of appeal authority that we create. Right now, our code says you guys kind of are that. It just doesn't call you the appeal authority for fees. It says you can waive fees or modify fees at your discretion. So we would just need to make that adjustment to say, if you guys want to, if you want if you want yourselves to be the appeal authority for fees, we'll just adjust it to clarify that that's the case.
Well, my opinion is we treat it a lot like we do with some of the tax entities. That we let the hearing officer make a recommendation, but it comes to the legislative body for approval. I mean,
I
the
would
hearing
rather see
officer is
that.
gonna be there. I don't think we need to get involved with the, minute by minute discussion. Let the hearing officer do that. They make a recommendation, in my opinion, to the commission that we can either approve or not approve.
That's exactly what I'd support.
I agree with that, because if it comes straight to us, then you have the political aspect of
Yeah.
it. If it comes from a hearing officer that has a recommendation.
Yeah.
It takes that piece off the table.
Perfect.
Yeah, I just think we do that in a number of other cases, just take it
Yeah.
off our backs, but still the legislative body should have the right to hear, the other side of it.
Yeah.
But the hearing officer should be the one that makes that recommendation.
Okay, perfect.
So, okay, I just want to clarify that. So you would still be acting as the appeal authority then in that case? You just want something written from the hearing officer?
Yeah.
A recommendation.
Recommendation or a denial or whatever, right?
Yeah, that's how I see it.
I like that too.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lauren, do you think the ordinance would be ready next Tuesday or the Tuesday after?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to talk to you about a couple other things,
Okay.
but this part of it, yeah.
Expect it within the next couple of Tuesdays.
so did we get the person we talked about being the hearing officer?
No, the person we talked about didn't submit an application.
Oh.
In fact, we went out under the provision where we had to get 3 bids. and
Right.
We could just go with the best bid of that. But we didn't get any bids under that, of the 7 or 8 people that we sent it to. So we just put it out on the state website. And I think, did I see Jason in here? I think that's, the deadline for application submittals is a week from Friday.
Okay,
So we should.
next week.
Next week, yep. So we should have a pretty good understanding of who we can go with at that point.
So do you think we'll get some interest with that then, or?
I'm hoping. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, to me, it just makes so much sense, more sense, that, Board of Adjustments, gets together once every 3 or 4 months at best.
Right.
And if we have somebody that has the expertise in that, I think we better represent the people we should represent.
Commissioner, can I raise one thought there along with that? As we're going to this hearing officer, I think it might make sense for us to just review the zoning ordinance again.
Yeah,
And say, are there issues that we've seen that we keep bumping into where we're getting a lot of appeal requests or variance requests? Or if we have areas like the Ogden Canyon where we know setbacks are not going to work and we're going to get a lot of requests, it might be worth our time to go in and just make some amendments there. So we lessen the number of appeals that we're going to be getting. So as we're going this direction with the hearing officer, maybe we can just do that alongside.
I like that.
oh, I think that's a great idea. I mean, there's,
Not the whole code, but
No.
just the areas where we know we're going to have some.
yeah, I mean,
issues.
usually it deals with setbacks, it deals with
Exactly,
frontage. It
Exactly.
deals with square footage. Sometimes you get in, on, okay, the house burnt down and the period of time to replace it. I mean, I don't know how many of those we heard. I heard when I was on the Board of Adjustments, we heard a couple of those, but
Yeah,
we know which ones come about.
For sure. It really helped too when we did some language cleanup with the easements in the back
Yeah,
of
Oh, yeah.
allowing them to sign a certificate, and that has really made it so we haven't had to bring any before you probably within the last year or so.
yeah, that's,
So that's been nice.
that was a good move.
Can I ask one other question?
Sure.
I haven't looked at this, but is this appeal officer being paid by the number of times they actually hold an appeal hearing, or are we just paying them to be our appeal officer?
It would be per hour.
Okay, all right, per hour actually worked.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay, I think that makes it, so a week from Friday, we should know.
We should, yep.
Okay.
We'll let you guys know as soon as we do.
Got it. Okay. Questions?
None.
No,
Questions?
no.
Okay,
Thank you.
good job.
Thank you.
All right, commissioners, the next one's 2:30. I think we've got Joe Hadley and so maybe we ought to look at Saunter.
Motion to
Second.
saunter?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We'll saunter until 2:30 PM.
Hey, Jim.
Yes.
Want this award presented to Marty and Cassie?
No, they have one.
They have.
So when we got those, we got 3 or 4 of them. We just wanted to, just some kind of a recognition, maybe a proclamation or something.
Get this thing cooking here.
Get on the airplane.
Motion to cease to saunter, Mr. Chair.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye, motion carries. We're now back in our public meeting, 2:30 discussion regarding interlocal agreement with Plain City regarding 2200 North improvements. Mr. Sean
Okay.
Wilkinson.
Here we go.
All right.
Bill
Here we
Ross,
go.
Gary Myers is not here, and Portland's here. Okay,
Yes.
go ahead.
All right, commissioners. So the last time we talked, we had mentioned that this project was on hold. And we were waiting for Plain City to get back in contact with us.
Yeah,
And Mayor Meyer quickly did. He wants to see this project move forward.
Boy, there's service. That's nice to have service from a mayor out there. It's been a long time.
So
different.
he contacted us. We had a meeting out at Plain City to discuss the email that we received from Plain City with all of the additional requests as part of the interlocal agreement. I think we came to what we think is a good agreement. We want to go through that with you and then see if you're willing to let us move forward with this amended interlocal agreement. So if you go to page 2, down toward the bottom of the page where it says agreement,
Got it.
Page 2.
we are asking the city to adopt an ordinance approving the annexation that we had proposed no later than March 20th. I guess. So that the city will do that. And then following the annexation, they will be responsible for acquiring the one piece of property that we still need to purchase.
Remind me his name.
It is Molding.
Molding, okay.
Yeah. Brett Molding.
Brett.
Hey, guys, welcome. Okay,
So. And then the county has agreed that we will reimburse the city for the reasonable costs of that acquisition. So.
which we agreed to do that before, right?
Correct, yep, so that part hasn't
Yeah.
changed.
Okay,
Except for, we did add, as you'll see at the bottom of page 3. Cortland,
As to that,
a lot of red in there,
yeah,
okay.
Cortland has made some changes and some
and
comments.
by Cortland's brilliant.
We're gonna call that legal ease.
Cortland, do you wanna speak to that provision?
Yes, there was originally going to be a provision in here that said the county would not do any of the work until after the city had acquired the property and let us know that it was all acquired and we were able to start proceeding with the work. That would have given the city, we felt, some incentive to move forward because
Yeah.
the work wouldn't be done until they actually acquired the property. In the discussion we had with Plain City, that kind of flips the timeline so that we would actually do the work sooner, as you're going to see.
Yep.
That sort of, I was worried that it took away the incentive for the city to move forward quickly on the acquisition of the remaining property. And the price might creep up and up and up through property values increasing.
Yeah,
So I put a paragraph in here that says our payments for the full eventual costs of the property are subject to the city proceeding in good faith with reasonable promptness and diligence to acquire the property. We acknowledge that it takes some time. There's really no way to pinpoint what that would be, either the time or the amount, because I mean, those things are so variable depending on what happens. And but we did, what I wrote in here is, if the city fails to do that, the county will be entitled to an equitable adjustment of the final costs to reflect what the final costs would have been if the city had proceeded with reasonable promptness and diligence. Then I did say in here, as part of this commitment, the city agrees to file a complaint of eminent domain with the appropriate court by some date that we would choose or negotiate, and then to pursue it with, reasonable promptness and diligence to completion. And then I said, if a dispute arises, the county will have the burden of proving that they failed to proceed with reasonable promptness and diligence, and that resulted in materially significant time-based increases in acquisition costs. I was hoping this would be acceptable to the city. It gives us the burden of proving that they failed to proceed diligently and promptly, but it does give us that opportunity. And it's really, again, not specific, because it's hard to be specific in these kinds of unforeseeable situations, but it would give us the chance, if they dragged it out for years and if the price doubled or tripled, and if we could not see any good reason for that, it would give us a chance to dispute our requirement to pay the full acquisition cost and to argue that we should only have to pay a portion of it to represent what it would have been if they had just gone forward diligently and promptly. So it isn't really solid guarantee of us getting anything if they delay it, but at least it gives us the opportunity. And I worry, and this is open to, changes, but I worry that if we try to put anything more specific in there, they would balk at that and say that's too hard to predict. So
Correct.
anyway, it's a proposal for you to consider.
Yeah, it's so hard with eminent domain to know how that process will go. We're assuming that Mr. Molding is going to fight. And that he has, from day one, he has just told us he's not selling, and that's the way it is. So we understand we will have to go through, or Plain City will have to go through this process because it will be their property at that point. But there's no definitive timeline for how long that will take. So we're left guessing. We just want to make sure that they are proceeding at a reasonable time frame.
Okay, so what's our requirements? We understand eminent domain.
Yep.
Could happen 6 months, it could happen in 6 years.
Sure.
Who knows? But so what's our requirement in terms of this agreement?
The improvement.
So we're gonna do the improvements now?
Yeah, so that's the next part. So on page 4,
Okay,
so
Aren't they all done except for one connection?
little bit. So we'll tell you what's not done, and I'll let
Okay.
Joe speak to this a little bit, but says, so before July of this year, before July 1st, the county will finish piping the drainage ditch on the south side of the road. And will meet all the city's requirements. So that's what we have left is about 264 linear feet of 18-inch concrete pipe with 2 4x4 boxes. So those are the improvements that Joe and Jared have gone out there and said, this is what needs to happen. We've had our engineers look at that. They agree. So that is what the county is going to do to finish. Yep, and then put road base to match the city's standard on top of that. So
no asphalt?
not yet. So that's the other part. So the city said, well, we have plans to maybe widen this even further in the future. So we'd rather not have you pave 22 feet if we're going to come put another 8 or 10 feet on it. Why don't you just pay us the cost of the asphalt in value right now? And then we will take that as the county's obligation to pave.
Oh, I like that.
So
Okay.
that's the
Today's rate.
correct at today's rate. And then if it costs them more in the future, that's on them. So anything else you guys want to speak to as far as those improvements go?
They'll be done probably by the end of the week. We've already started on Friday. We should have the pipe done by the end of the week, I would assume.
Okay,
You installed boxes too, Joe.
boxes, and then you just have road base?
Yeah, well, I think one of them's completely done today, actually. It was an 88-foot section, the bigger section will start tomorrow.
Fantastic.
We'll go on and put road base, backfill it with a road base, compact it, grade it. I guess when we're done, you want me to get with Dan?
Oh, yeah, we'll just have them
Make
sign
sure
off
everything
on it.
looks
Yep,
good and then he
exactly.
signs off.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
so-
should be done.
So that's the
In a week.
proposed agreement. We will have all of our improvements except the asphalt done basically by the end of this week or
Wow.
into next week.
Okay,
So the only thing that we will have left to pay for is the asphalt, which we can do at any time based on today's value. We'll just negotiate that price between us and Plain City. And then we'll have the acquisition cost for the molding property. And then we have the additional cost for the properties that we have not yet paid for, that we have the signed agreements for, but we've been holding on to those for 3 years and values have gone up. So that is an additional cost that we believe is fair for us to pay. Now, that's, again, your decision.
so give me what we think the increased value is.
About $40,000.
That's what they've said? They
Well,
paid
that's what Gary, collectively for all of.
Yeah.
Yeah, collectively about $40,000.
Okay, and that's part of the agreement that we complete those acquisitions.
Correct.
Okay, questions? Commissioner Harvey,
Because I like where it's gone. I mean, let me rephrase that. I don't like it's taken this long.
Yep.
But I like that we're to this point. What we're doing is we're doing what we said we were going to do. And we would have done it when we said we were gonna do it, but those delays aren't on us. So that's shows integrity for our organization, and I like that.
We did tell them we would not pay for garbage can
Right.
transfers.
What about all the other stuff?
No
that they-
boxes on the north side of the street, all of that.
Garbage
is-
cans.
Yep, so it's simply what is listed in here. It's the pipe, it's the boxes on the south side, the 2 boxes, the road base, and paying for the asphalt, and then the acquisition costs.
Okay, so molding property, they're responsible to take it to court if it goes that far, correct?
That's right.
Yep.
And then how do we, remind me on our legalese here at Cortland, how we go about recouping that if it takes 6 years and the value today is X and it's gonna be X times 10 in 6 years?
Then we would have to come up with our reasons for why we believe the city could have proceeded faster. And if we do feel that we have that justification, we would be able to dispute whatever they would charge us and say, if you had, we'd probably have to hire some kind of expert to say, maybe an outside attorney who does this. If you had proceeded diligently, you could have wrapped it up in 3 years. Therefore, the county is paying twice what it should have. Here's our evidence of that. And then we would have to negotiate that with the city or end up in court, worst case scenario, and try to prove it. So it's not a guarantee that we would be able to recoup any of that, but it's language that would allow us to try.
And it does say that the city will make good faith attempts to acquire it for fair market value, and they will consult with the county in making decisions about how much to agree to pay for the property. So they have to be consulting with us throughout this process as part of the agreement.
Okay. So what about setting, I don't mind your approach, but it's pretty gray.
It is.
It is.
What if we said, we know what those properties are costing us today, right, per square foot? What if we said, look, the county will reimburse the city up to 110% or 120% of what we're currently paying as of today's market value?
That's a good idea.
So there is a provision in there that says if the acquisition cost for the property exceeded 200% of fair market value, the county will only be obligated to pay an amount equal to 75% of the city's acquisition costs for the value of the property. So
75%.
there is
We're paying 150.
the only way we see that this could exceed a reasonable amount is if it does drag on for 6 years. But if you want some language to tighten that up, that's where we're going to have to work on
And I
it.
think what you were maybe asking, if I understood right, in addition to that is, do we find the value now?
Yeah,
And then say, we won't pay more than X percent of that, 120% of that, or whatever it is, maximum. Is that what you're saying?
that's what I'm saying, is look, we will know after we pay that 40 grand, here's what our value is today. We'll agree to pay up to a percentage times that at some, not to exceed something. So I just like being locked in. I don't like open-ended contracts.
We'll have to include the attorney's costs in that as well and just figure out how much that might.
You know what I'm,
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Like you said, the more we tighten it up, the less open they'll be to that.
Yeah, I don't know. It was an assumption
try.
they might push back if we tried to be more specific, but we can
We
definitely
can
try.
certainly put that in here and give that to them, get their.
I'd like to give, bottom line, we've been dancing with these guys over the past 6 months. And we know that their residents are the ones now that are putting pressure to make this happen.
Yep.
They know that it's not the county and our good friend Bronco that did a handshake agreement out there that are making this happen. So, I think we should at least give it a shot. And if it doesn't happen, but one thing I learned a long time ago, we don't ask for it, we don't get it.
Sure.
Are you okay with us putting that language in and sending it off to Plain City, or would you like to
Yeah.
review it before?
No, I think you get the point.
Okay.
And again, and I just think, maybe we do like whatever you think is reasonable, 125%, 100. I think I'm more concerned about limiting our maximum exposure than I am about setting something.
Okay.
I just want to limit it so it doesn't turn into, 5 years from now, these guys are sitting here and find out that, okay, that's gonna cost us 10 times more than we paid for that property,
Yeah.
which is not fair.
So that red paragraph on the bottom of page 3 is the kind of squishy one that gives us the opportunity to dispute it. Would you replace that language with a hard and fast, say 125% and say, you know, instead of giving us the chance to dispute and present evidence?
Yeah,
you just say.
I mean,
replace
we
that
can always
with-
dispute it, but I'd rather have something that's a little bit more solid before we dispute it.
Okay. Yeah, I can change that paragraph and put, is 125% the right number or?
I'm okay with starting with that, and if they come back at 150, so let's let them key on the number.
Okay.
And give them some wiggle room as far as our percent.
I'm good with that.
You okay?
Yeah.
Do we have a number? I can't remember from an appraiser.
Could find out.
What's current?
We ought to be.
We yeah, Gary has the information.
So we'll know what that number is.
So we could put a
Yeah.
dollar value.
There's no more current value
I
than
like
that.
that.
We can put dollar value, but we're paying for the attorney costs as well, so we've got to
Yeah,
just
so it'll be,
include that in as
it'll
well.
be the land value, no more than 125% of this.
Yeah, plus
Plus.
reasonable
whatever.
attorney costs or.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, that is what we have going on 2200.
okay, like, glad that we're getting close to making a decision on this.
Yes,
So if we do that, we don't necessarily have to put a deadline in there.
Correct.
For them to start the process.
agree.
They just know, they can
No.
take as long as they want, knowing
See-
that we won't pay
Right,
more than
right,
this.
yeah.
See, that's the other part is that it puts them under the gun a little bit to expedite this.
Yep.
There's no reason for them to expedite it with this agreement right now.
Yeah.
And it's basically harms us in favor, let's narrow this down and put the pressure on them to get this resolved.
okay.
Are they
Good,
just paying
good.
for material costs?
Uh,
We need to change the chair.
60,000. For.
Process.
asphalt, to do the.
oh, is that, you guys already have it.
Started
Okay.
as the
So
chair.
that's just material.
Yeah, it's just material.
That's just asphalt.
As far, yes, we're not paying what it would cost to put it
Labor
down,
and-
no,
Just the asphalt.
just the
cost, right?
asphalt, just the material.
60,000.
That's my understanding.
50,000 for material.
55.7.
We'll get that,
That's,
let's have that,
that's last year's tonnage price,
Okay.
and we don't know what this year's
Yeah.
is.
maybe run that by Dan at Flint City. And as long as you guys have agreement, I think we can put that in the agreement.
Okay.
That oil price come down, that ought to be cheaper this year, you can tell them.
We did pay a little less last year than the year before.
Yeah,
It's like $1.
dollar a ton.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's my first
Dollar a ton.
price, I'll find out.
13,000 ton. It was 13,000.
Yeah.
How's your salt budget this year?
It's killing it.
You need salt, because I have salt.
Do you need salt? I bet we have more.
I got 75
No boxes on the north,
gallons
right,
per
Cause
day
they
of
asked
salt
about
water.
putting a box there and I said, I have to. No boxes on the
We're
north.
not paying for boxes on.
The road base, is that
Use that
a
salt.
total of 8 inches across the whole 22 feet plus the ditch we're filling in? Cause Gary said something about digging maybe some holes in the existing road to see what there was existing.
Yeah,
So in case we needed to put 4 more inches across the existing road, plus the 8 in the ditch that we're doing.
I think we just need to verify with Dan. Yeah, just talk to him.
Cause I had Travis put 8 inches over the top of the pipe.
Okay.
Top of the gravel.
Yeah.
I know. she's very-
That concrete pipe's just taking carry water, isn't it? Just runoff water.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's some irrigation that runs into it, but it's for waste. It's all wastewater, tail water from their fields.
Cool. All right, anything else?
That's it.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, gentlemen. All right,
Ready for
need to go into a closed session. I'd entertain a motion.
move to leave the public meeting, go to a closed session, to discuss the purchase, exchange, or lease of real property.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Be able to go into the pipe.
Yeah.
We're now in a closed session.
You don't want in a closed session.
Yeah. I saw John out there. There he is.
Yeah.
You want to move it?